Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia. This is the summary for the day of 19 April, which is yesterday. Ukrainian time now is 1 p.m, so I'm a bit late. Actually, I'm very late. So this is supposed to be done in the early morning of Ukraine time. Anyway, before I start, please drop some grenade on the like button because there's some entrenched naughties over there. So throw some grenades and make sure you clear that trench, that light trench very well. So anyway, back to the summary. Czechoslovakia, not Czechoslovakia, that is history. Czech Republic said the Defense Ministry of Czech Republic announced that the Czech companies will be handling the repairs of damaged equipments from Ukraine. So this is according to this Russian source. They say because the Ukrainians are now unable to repair their own stuff, so now Czech Republic is going to get involved. Then so moving on, we have this very peculiar situation about the Air Force, the Ukrainian Air Force. Oops. Okay, so the Pentagon speaker Kirby, he said Ukraine has received fighter planes and aircraft parts to booster its air force in the face of Russian invasion. So then they declined to specify the number of aircraft or their origin. So according to this article by the Defense Post, they continued. They say that John Kirby, the Pentagon spokesman, said that the Ukrainian forces right now have available to them more fixed-wing fighter aircraft than they did 2 weeks ago. So without getting into what other nations are providing, they have received additional platforms and parts to be able to increase their fleet size. Notice the word platform, okay? Notice the word platform. So they also did not. He also did not specify the type of aircraft delivered, and which the Ukrainians have been pleading for weeks, but suggested that they are Russian or Soviet, aircrafts. So other nations who have experience with this kind of aircraft have been able to help them get more aircraft up and running. So whatever this is supposed to mean. So then this caused this entire news goes viral. As you can see, the Defense Post posted about this, and then soon after, the Ukraine official Ukraine Telegram channel listed the command of the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ukraine has not received new aircraft from partners! Exclamation mark. So with the assistance of the US government, the Air Force and Armed Forces of Ukraine received spare parts and components for the restoration and repair of a fleet of aircraft that are in service with the Air Force Aviation, which allows to put more equipment into service. So Ukraine denies, and then they say that they only receive spare parts. So the spare parts allow them to fly, which is very interesting because here they say additional platforms. So then there, of course, there are parts, and then they also specifically say fighter planes and fighter planes. So then after that, the US clarified, that they only help to deliver additional spare parts, but not the whole aircraft. So it's a very peculiar situation, which maybe after the Pentagon said that they send aircraft, then maybe the Baltic states and Poland, they all freaked out, and then asking them to retract the statement or something. So no idea what happened, but this somehow explains the additional the revival of the Ukrainian Air Force in this last 2 weeks, where we have the helicopters flying, trying to go for suicide raids. Suicide evacuation to Mariupol. We have the suicide raids into Russia. We have the suicide airstrikes and air defense mission over the Donbass area. and so many of them got shot down, which wasn't rather possible in my opinion, because most of the Air Force is really taken out in the early weeks of the war. So this perhaps has explained, and to say that they have more aircraft today than 2 weeks ago, that can actually mean anything. So perhaps all these support and spare parts, and even the actual aircraft have been provided way before 2 weeks ago. So because you cannot give spare parts and expect you repair a plane in a day or two, right? It will take at least a week or two at minimum to get the planes flying, and you need to test them, to fly them around to make sure that it works. So that's that. At least that explains how the Ukrainians are able to do necromancy on their Air Force. So moving on to Mykolaiv Front, there's no news regarding the Mykolaiv Front. There's on Zaporizhzhia Line, there are reportedly heavy fighting still at Polohi. So some of the comments you guys told me that Polohi is a region, so maybe. So no other news regarding around Mariupol. However, on the Russian sources announced, based on information from DPR, that the Russian forces have captured Mykolaiv, Novosilka, Torske, and Novosilka. So this is a massive punch. It's around 13, depending on how far, where they start off. Let's say they start off from Ukraine, it could be a 15 kilometers drive, and this is actually quite a huge punch into the Ukrainian line, and this would threaten Velyka Novosilka, because if they continue to push through, and there is unlikely to be heavy entrenchment if they are able to break through here. And look at the speed, so they might able to encircle and force a retreat away from Velyka Novosilka. So likely they will retreat northeastward to join up with the rest of the comrades over here. And if, let's say, the Russians do not continue on this way and decide to punch all the way through, they can cut off this resupply route here. So I'm not sure how much defense in depth is there here. So we shall see what is to come next. But this is a rather big breakthrough, because this line have been intact for at least 3 weeks already. So big news there. On south of the front line here, the town of Rozivka met up and voted at a meeting whether they want to join the Donetsk People's Republic. And from the video that I saw, most of them raised their hand. So it looks like they will be joining Donetsk People's Republic, and the border might change. As you can see, there's actually a bulge here. So joining DPR would actually make this more straight, which makes some sense in that sense. So moving south to Mariupol, there is around 120 to 140 civilians evacuated near the gate of Azovstal. I'm suspecting that it's around here. So they managed to leave during the ceasefire period, because there's a few hours of ceasefire during the surrender corridor offered to the Azovstal. So the civilians took the opportunity to actually run away, and they were evacuated with the help of the Russian and Chechen forces. However, no people surrendered from Azovstal. So the moment the deadline ended, Russia immediately started bombarding Azovstal. So then we have this very peculiar news. This is actually from a Telegram channel that debunks fake news. So they say that there is actually no 6-story deep labyrinth under Azovstal. So because I think it's the Telegraph, or I don't know which newspaper from the British. They drew this very beautiful image. Let me see whether I can actually dig it out. So they have this very beautiful image of how it looks like, under Azovstal, and then showing all the different different levels and what they do and what is underneath. Yeah, let me show you. Ta-da! So this is the image. I think you probably have seen it, and this is from I don't know which newspaper already. So they have all these tunnel images and drawings, and it looks really exciting and looks really powerful. And then this debunker so immediately say fake. The bomb shelter at Azovstal is a huge network of tunnels and 6 underground floors that no bombs can penetrate. Okay, it's written by the Daily Mail. So then they debunk it. The truth is that there is nothing unusual in the dungeons of Azovstal. According to whoever this guy is, Timofey V, which previously engaged in digging for a long time, they say there's actually no labyrinth or multi-level underground halls over there. So Azovstal employ around 10,000 people, not 40,000 as the Daily Mail writes. And this number requires 2 large or several medium-sized bomb shelters. The shelters under the workshop are very rare phenomenon. So they were built only in case of acute shortage of space. So for example, at ZIL in Moscow, so maybe something similar in Moscow. So in factory shelters are built either under administrative or household complexes that are generally located separately. So as of now, at least one bomb shelter is freestanding. That means isolated, I guess. It's clearly visible at 50 seconds of this video. So they are actually referring to this part. And then almost always the shelter is isolated from other communication. There's no secret doors and secret passages. The shelter can go to the basement if it's under the building. So that if it's freestanding, it just has 2 sloping entrance, and it's indeed an underground floor under the workshop, but it's just a basement with a fairly high ceiling. It's needed for communication, water, gas, electricity, placement of the lower part of the technological installation. So often the partition between the underground floor of the workshop and the workshop itself is just ordinary metal flooring. There's no long staircase or six underground floors. So the shelter usually only have 1 or rarely 2 floors. All these structures are buried at the level of 5 to 6, maximum 10 meters. The basis of the shelter protection is a concrete mattress, basically a concrete on top of a pressurized door. Therefore, a bomb hits, ordinary factory tunnels are destroyed very quickly. By the way, there's not so many of them there, since factory communications are usually laid on top. There's no need to bury them in the ground. So they're saying that factory communication, maybe this is talking about the administration building, there's no need for them to be underground. So this also actually makes a lot of sense. So what essentially what he says is that this factory area is just very ordinary factory area, and there are of course underground basement stories, but they are not actually the kind of Soviet era myth of they can continue to work even during wartime and heavy bombardment or nuclear strikes. And this actually makes logical sense to me. So I don't know what to believe. You decide. Is there a six-story deep game, Half-Life game kind of labyrinth and tunnel and dungeons, or it's just another boring industrial zone. So you decide. I have no idea. So going away from Mariupol, there's nothing else happening here other than, okay, this is let me just delete this. Marinka. Just to add about Marinka, one Russian source say that the Russians have never captured Marinka. So very convenient. They say that they had always only captured 10% of it. So I feel a bit cheated. Anyway, it could be misinformation because they just want to save their pride. That is possible. No news along this line. Definitely there is fighting, but I don't have any significant news for you. There is a rumor which I just posted on Telegram. There's a rumor that in this Luhansk triangle of Rubizny, Severodonetsk, and Lysychansk, the Ukrainian forces is actually deciding to leave. So this is just a rumor. They're deciding to evacuate away from this front line, and I think this is possible because you can see that the pincer might actually close on them, and then maybe it's a good idea to retreat. That is a possibility, but of course this is just rumor. The Ukrainian forces have been shown to be rather brave to actually hold on and fight urban battles. So let's see. So remember the previous summary I mentioned about the possibility of the Russians taking service, and with this railway station here, they can actually use the railway to actually transport forces all the way into the heart of the East Army. And but in order to use service, you need to capture Rozivka, Yampil, and Liman. So I think the Ukrainian heard me, and then they actually bombed this railway bridge here. So there goes this idea, and so yeah, I cursed it. So too bad. So now we are already in the Izyum Front already. The easternmost part of Izyum Front. The Russian forces have captured Torske, and there is actually rumors that they have already captured Zaporizhzhia as well today. These are rumors from today, but I can, other than some random tweet saying that Zaporizhzhia has already been captured, I don't really have a very firm information about Zaporizhzhia falling. So at the moment, we can only be sure about Torske. Fighting continues for Liman, and there is this interesting report that Yazkivka and Rupsi has been captured by the Russian forces. However, we understood that the fighting is at Lozove and or Lozov, and then the Ukrainians are unlikely to want to let them pass, and so it's not too sure whether they capture this because this push is successful. They overrun Luzov and capture these two villages, or could it be actually Oskil is under the Russian forces and they actually attack from the west side towards Yazkivka and Rupsi to create this encirclement of these forces here. So because I have no idea where is the direction, I'm going to leave this here as of like this first until we can have more information. Maybe as the front line move further south, then we will know whether Luzov has fallen or whether Oskil is actually Russian. So there's a lot of question mark around this region here. So I'm going to leave this here first until we have further information. I'm not going to draw the border into this area. There is no other progress or no changes to this front line. So someone in the comment told me that don't say progress, say changes. So maybe that maybe using the word progress is very pro-Russian. So I don't know. There's no changes to the situation around this Izyum Front here. There is a MiG-29 shot down over Malinivka. So this is already the fifth MiG-29 over 2 days. So there is a lot of MiG-29s getting shot down. So if Poland or any of the countries gave the Ukrainian fighter jets, they are definitely burning through them really, really quickly. So moving on to the final front, Kharkiv. So okay, some people also told me that I use the word "so" a lot, but too bad. This massive counter-offensive by the Ukrainians suddenly went out of steam. There is totally no news about further progress, which is really unusual. There's also no news about they're fighting in this area, they're fighting in that area. Suddenly this entire push just went quiet. Then a Russian source wrote that they wrote that the Ukrainian forces evacuated the people around Zaporizhzhia, and I think Zaporizhzhia, and I think there's another place. Let's see. They basically northern Zaporizhzhia, so it's Zaporizhzhia only. So they evacuated the civilians quickly, and if they did not evacuate, they'll have to stay in the bomb shelters for 2 weeks. And then they also started mining the Circular Kutuzovka road. So I actually not too sure where is this road. I think it's around here. So they say that in the near future, so this is according to the Russian source, they say that the Ukrainians are plans to go on a counter-offensive, and the fact that the strikes on their position in northern Zaporizhzhia are planned to pass off as deliberate shelling of the civilian population, which are no longer there. So they are talking about the future. This is not the now. So the position of the Russians in Zukuni, which is here, Zukuni, wants to be equalized together with the village. So I have no idea what this translation actually means. But on the map of this post, they listed this location as Russian held, and the Ukrainians actually hold the front line around here, and they are evacuating the civilians from here to later to militarize this position here, because this is a high rise. So this is high rise, and you can see everything is flat here. So this is actually a very good military position. So, and if the Russians are to hit all these buildings, then they can accuse the Russians of hitting civilians. So this is what this post is talking about. And then this kind of invalidated the Ukrainian progress, at least in this direction, into Ruski, which is kind of awkward, if you ask me, because this is supposed to be that awesome Ukrainian offensive, and somehow the Russian sources still continue to put Russian forces to be in control in this area. So no idea who is talking the truth. So I actually have this mixed border here, and I put a question mark on here, so that we can keep track of the situation around Kharkiv. So this information makes me wonder if the rumor of this counteroffensive is even true or not. So we will definitely take note of this, keep track, and see how it goes, because I feel that if they are still stuck here, then they're definitely not going to cut Kupiansk, and they're just giving time for the Russians to regroup and entrench themselves to protect this supply line at Kupiansk. So this is the summary of day 55. Seems like not a lot happened, but also a lot of things has happened. And so remember to throw the grenade at the like button. Do share this with your friends and family and contacts if you find this is useful. And check out the links in the description below. I will see you in the next update.